Right, so Barry, first of all, just explain to me at the moment the situation as you see it regarding what the EFL plan to do with League One and perhaps finishing the season.
Yeah, well, as I see it, they've given us two alternatives, to vote to finish the season, complete all the games, or to have a points per game system, which I think is totally wrong. It doesn't take into consideration home and away, doesn't take into consideration who you're playing or anything like that. So I don't agree with that at all. Obviously, from our point of view, we want to play and finish the season where it should be, on the pitch. I can understand clubs have got difficulty with that. But nevertheless, I'm very, very, very frustrated, disappointed and amazed that the Premier League have not come in with a financial package to help all teams in the EFL, all the 71 clubs, let alone just the 23 in our league. I think when you consider they each guaranteed 186 million each club. If it's a championship club, you're guaranteed 7.5 million. So there's a huge, huge difference. So obviously the championship clubs want to play and fulfil their ambition to get up. But we're the same in League One. We get 1.5 million at the minute before we kick a ball from solidarity and basic awards. That would go up to 7.5 million, 6 million extra, plus what you get in the added gate receipts because you're playing better opposition, and them clubs you're playing in the Championship are better supported. And even down in League Two, they get 1 million. If they come up to League One, they get 1.5 million. It's 10 grand a week. It's a big difference to all Football League clubs. The big problem, as I see it, and why most clubs don't want to play, is because the testing will cost a fortune. Putting on games in empty stadiums will cost a fortune. And that's why I plead, I beg, I pray that the Premier League will come and help us out in some way, shape or form by a donation, not loaning us the money because we've got to pay it back. When you consider, when the window opens, if it ever opens again, Premiership clubs will buy players for 60, 70, 80 million pounds, give the players 300, 400, 500 grand a week. And yet, in between that time, there'll be 5, 10, 15 clubs go out of business. We can't afford that to happen. Those clubs up and down the country, they're so important for the communities. They're the life and soul of the communities. We can't lose. When I came into football 60 years ago, we had 92 clubs. Then, of course, the breakaway, and then, of course, the EFL, 72 clubs. Now the National League, which is just as important, by the way. We're forgetting about that. They need help as well. So I cannot understand why the Premier League haven't done anything about it. I know they've put 125 million in the kitty, but that's a loan. We've got to pay it back. And we won't get it next year. So we'll be in the same boat next year, in fact, worse. So, and the PFA, I'm sorry about the PFA, they've got 50 million on deposit. They've got 1,400 players out of contract on the 30th of June. If we don't play football, them players have got no chance to impress their clubs to get a better contract or a contract next year. Or if their clubs don't want them, put themselves in a shop window to get a club for next season. If we're not careful, I can see the whole football collapsing. And then if the Premier League, if the PFA do something about it, it'll be too late. That's my fear. Regarding League One, the Championship's made their own mind up. They're going to finish the season. We're very split. I don't know why the EFL don't say the EFL is 3 leagues, the Championship, League 1 and 2. We all finish it. I don't know why we've all got to have a meeting amongst ourselves. League 2 have decided 20 clubs out of 24 don't want to play anymore. But it's because of the finance. So I think if somebody helped us with that finance, with the cost of you know, testing players and with the cost of putting the games on, I think 9 out of 10 managers I speak to want to play football. 9 out of 10 players that I speak to want to play football. And the thing is, a lot of clubs are saying, oh, well, we've got so many players out on the 30th of June. We've got to pay them July anyway. They won't have a club by July. We've got to pay them. They've got the option, the players, whether they want to play or not. But surely they'll want to play to put themselves in the shop window to earn a contract with somebody for the following season. If they don't, they're going to be on a scrap heap for months and months. And all this thing, oh, we've got to finish by the 30th of June, that's an impossibility. I don't know why we're trying to do that. There's a multiplicity contract. You can have the players on another contract for another month. August, September, October, November, whenever we finish. So, you know, I find it very, very, very frustrating that that there's been a lack of leadership, really, from day one. You know, nobody knows what we're doing. Even now, we don't know what we're doing. They've had meetings after meetings after meetings, and we've got another 2 or 3 meetings coming up in the next week. All this is causing, as well, a tremendous amount of pressure on, particularly on young players who's living in flats on their own. You know, mental health has gone through the roof since this lockdown, and it's terrible. And I'm pleased to say my own son, Adam, is doing 3 marathons to raise money for Mind in this, which is a great cause. So well done. But there is a lot of people out there suffering. And, you know, I'm very, very frustrated. I'm a football lover. I want as many clubs in the country to, the pyramid is brilliant. I want that to continue, but I'm frightened to death it won't. I'm frightened to death it won't, because I'm frightened to death by the time the Premier League act, by the time the PFA act, the government, please God, might come in and embarrass all the football governing bodies and bail us out themselves. I think they realise it, whether they will or not, I don't know. Have they done enough already? I don't know. It's all very, very confusing. It's all very, very frustrating. But the sooner we get back to football, when it's safe, I'll be happy.
One of the plans that's been proposed, that's been talked about, is this idea of points per game for deciding the playoffs and promotion and what have you. And the way things are looking, if that went through, you'd end up losing out in the playoffs at the expense of Wycombe, because the points are unweighted, which I guess you must think is really unfair.
Well, it's totally unfair for me. I think Wycombe's got 10 games left, 4 at home, 6 away. We've got 9, 5 at home, 4 away. I think 7 of our 9 games are against the bottom 10 clubs. We're the highest scorers in the league. We've got the biggest goal difference in the league. And yet nobody's taken into account who you play. You know, I think Sunderland's got 3 at home, 6 away. I think Doncaster's got 3 at home, 7 away. You know, there's various things. And I just, willy-nilly, just to give a point a game to everybody is not fair to me. Not fair. You know, nothing, you know, no matter what happens, whatever decision's made, somebody's going to be hurt. But surely we've got to try to finish the season on the field for our fans' sake. You know, our fans have watched us all season. They're raring to go. They want to see us, even if it is behind closed doors. We can get it on television or summer. It gives them something to look forward to. It will lift the whole country. Certainly all the posh supporters that get in touch with me, and they've been magnificent, the posh supporters. You know, they've bought over 2,000 season tickets already. We ain't even finished this season yet, let alone next season. They've been magnificent.
So if that's not the way to go forward, what do you think is the solution here, Barry? What do you think could be done in order to try and get some sort of an amicable situation between everybody in League One?
I think League One should finish the season. I think they should attempt to finish the season, and the argument will be, oh, I've got 10 players out or 8 players out in June, so they can't play. But you know, some sides in League One have said, oh, I'll play the youth team, it will be a mess. Hold on. Bolton played their youth team for the first 2 or 3 months of the season. You know, what's the difference? If they can play your youth team at the start of the season, why can't you play the youth team at the end of the season to fulfil the fixtures?
The biggest problem it looks like, though, Barry, is obviously it's going to be financial because, as you mentioned, the testing is going to be a huge cost, obviously. So you're hopeful, are you, that somebody from somewhere, whether it be the Premier League or the government or the EFL or the PFA or somebody has to come in and help the teams out in order to be able to meet those costs?
Well, without a doubt, we need help. Every club should be begging the Premier League to help us out. You know, like I said before, they'll be spending fortunes when the transfer window opens, and then some part of that fortune should come down to make sure to cover the testing, to cover the putting the games on, anything to help us through this crisis. It's a world crisis, but you know, and it's up to the players. If some players don't want to play, understand perfectly. They won't be made to play. They can stay away. No problem at all. That, to me, opportunity knocks for the younger lads. We're always on about our young players not being given an opportunity to play. Well, now's the time. Now, because all the youngsters will want to play. Wow, their dream is to make their debut for whatever club they're with. And opportunity knocks. If players don't want to play, understand perfectly. Don't play. But it gives somebody else an opportunity. But let's finish the season on the field, where it matters.
We've clearly got two different factions here, the teams that want to play and the teams that don't. What do you think is the sticking point here? Has this whole crisis really sort of exposed in some ways the different factions and the different interests that a lot of clubs have within lower league football to try and push against each other, do you think?
Yeah, you know, some people are very vocal. They don't want to play. They want the season null and void already. I can't see that. We're 3/4 of the way through it, so that to me is a nonsense. You know, there obviously every club wants to look after their own house. They want to keep their own house in order, and they don't want to spend money that they haven't got. Understand that. That's why I need help from the Premier League. I need help from the PFA. We all need help, and we need it now. I know for a fact there's 8 clubs been in touch with administrators to put their clubs in administration in May. What sort of number is that going to be in June and July? And in August, if we're not back playing, which it doesn't look, we could be, we couldn't be. It's changing all the time. But we've got to finish this season, in my opinion, no matter how long it takes. We said at the start, we are finishing the season. And then we've changed the goalposts as it's gone off. But I agree with you, a lot of it's about finance. And we need help. There's no doubt about it. Without that finance, it ain't going to happen.
How worried are you, Barry, about the financial future, not only for yourselves, but for League One, for League Two, for some of the smaller clubs that we've got in the pyramid?
Yeah, I'm a great lover of football, especially non-league football, where I grew up and spent a lot of the time. And I feel for them as well, because we need to help them. We need to help the whole pyramid. And look, this has been going on for years and years. Clubs have been struggling. This is a great big eye-opener. And now we must take the opportunity of getting things right. There's no doubt about it. We've got to change the structure. Whatever happens, we can only spend what we get in. We're spending more than what we earn. Most clubs chasing the dream. We can't do that anymore. You know, we need to keep all the clubs together. But clubs can't say no. We've got to start saying no to players. No, we can't give you that. And if another club down the road will give you it, go there if that's what you're after, money. You know, we've got to cut our cloth accordingly. No doubt about that. This is a great opportunity for us to do that. However, it will not happen now.
With that in mind then, Barry, if this is going to be a bit of a reality check for a lot of clubs and a lot of people within football, what are you hoping for in terms of the next meeting, in terms of trying to sort all this out now?
I'm hoping for a miracle. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm praying for a miracle. because without finance, we ain't going to survive. A lot of clubs ain't going to survive, and I feel sorry for, you know, I don't want to lose one club, let alone half a dozen or a dozen or even 20. You know, it frightens me to death, to be honest, as a great football lover. And, you know, nobody foresee this world crisis coming upon us, but, you know, I think we've all got to be together. We talk about a football family. Well, the family's got to look after the family, and it begins at the top.
Just finally, Barry, obviously lockdown has been difficult for a lot of people, but obviously you're one of in the group, if you like, of the over 70s now, whereby you've got to be careful and look after yourself, haven't you? How's lockdown been for you over the last couple of months?
Well, to be honest, I'm 75 now. I've been in the game 60 years. I've been at Peterborough for nearly 25 years. I've enjoyed every moment, ups, downs, everything. I've never been at home as much as I have been. I fell in love with my wife all over again. All I've done is sat in the garden when it's sunny, glass of wine, music playing, watching her do the garden. It's wonderful.
Well, if we get football back again, though, Barry and Peterborough are playing, how difficult is it going to be for you to try and keep up with what's going on if you're still considered a vulnerable group person, if you're not allowed to go onto the training ground and what have you?
Considered a has-been that never was, so it's no different. No, even my chairman phones me from Florida and he says, "You're not going out, are you? You're not doing this, you're not doing that. Stay at home, stay at home. You're vulnerable." I feel fit as a fiddle, but there you go.